host, Ann Page. I'd like to thank Main Stitch Upholstery today for these beautiful reconditioned 1940s vintage chairs. Remember, you can reuse furniture that you maybe think isn't reusable, but you could go to Main Stitch Upholstery and have beautiful pieces of furniture. Thank you so much, Mike Alvarez. My guest today is a marvelous singer and musician. Her name is Allison Lee Freeman. I want to thank you so much for being with me here today, Allison. Allison is known as a 20th century shanty singer of extraordinary talent. She has a beautiful voice, and I understand it's strong enough to be heard over the strongest gale winds. Is that correct?
Haven't tested it, but...
Well, I've heard you, and I think that's true. Thank you for being here today. And Allison comes to us from the Mid-Coast. She was brought up in the Bath and Georgetown area. And could you tell me a little bit about yourself and what made you so interested in music? And at what age did that happen?
I can never remember a time that I wasn't interested in music. Both of my parents were musicians and sang. And so I was always surrounded by music, and so I suppose I didn't really have a choice except to.
And what types of music were you surrounded by as a child?
All sorts. My parents sang in choruses, and so classical music from that. And one of my earliest memories is learning how to play guitar, playing a little four-string tenor guitar with my father, playing along with a Bob Dylan album, one of the very early ones with Mr. Tambourine Man.
But you've been led into quite a career singing sea chanties, which I find fascinating because they're historical. So not only are you performing this beautiful music, but you're teaching history lessons as you go. So how did that evolve?
A fascination with history probably comes from growing up in Bath, and we bought a house, the Oliver Moses house on Washington Street, and moved in in 1968, and it was the 1960s, so the children of the family didn't want any of the furniture, so we literally bought the house with the furniture, the paintings, everything in it. So it was like growing up in the 1800s. The bookshelves had encyclopedias. I had to do a book report once on the Civil War, and I went to the encyclopedias and I went to look it up, and it wasn't in there, and then it occurred to me that to look in the front of the encyclopedia, and it was printed in 1854.
It predated the Civil War. That's amazing.
And so we were just surrounded by this history all the time, and I've been fascinated by it ever since.
And who did you listen to at that age that influenced you along those lines?
Burl Ives, and my parents' record collection included the Beatles and Blood, Sweat and Tears and Janis Joplin, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, so just a huge variety of music. And we listened to the radio. What is now public radio was the Bowdoin radio station, the early days of public radio.
And your father was a professor at Bowdoin College, wasn't he?
Yes. So he sang in what became the Bowdoin Chorus, and I have sung with that group off and on for years as well.
Now, you told me something in the pre-interview that really fascinated me, that when you were a high school student at Morse High School, you advocated on behalf of the music and arts programs. How did that happen?
Well, as happens cyclically, the school budget needed to be cut, and they wanted to cut arts, particularly band and chorus programs and the art program. And my parents said, well, if you feel very strongly about this, you should write a letter to the editor and you should go and speak at the school board. And so they helped me with that. And so I went and spoke at the school board meeting. And in the end, the program survived, at least in that time frame.
I think that's extraordinary because usually it's the adults that are advocating on behalf of the arts. But for a high school student to do that, I think that was very extraordinary. Now, did you go on beyond high school to study music
I did.
professionally?
I went to Boston University. My parents insisted, because they were paying for it, that I go to a liberal arts school as opposed to a conservatory. And at the time, I thought, yeah, I don't know, but I guess they're paying, so I'll go along. And I will say it was the smartest thing. I'm grateful every day that they did that, because the value of the liberal arts education I received helps me every single day. I can write well, I understand business concepts, there are connections I made while at BU that have been lifelong connections that have helped me in my career. So there's a lot to be said for a liberal arts education. And there were some things that focused music classes that I missed out on so that I could take economics, things of that sort.
You really focused on an overall education, not just art, and you would, I'm assuming you would recommend that for people who want to pursue a music and art career. You need everything.
You do. It makes you a better musician. Peter Alexander, as he's known professionally as a musician, writes a column for the Coastal Journal, and his article this week about David Bowie was very telling, and he mentions exactly that the truly great artists are also very well-rounded individuals, and they have maybe read some philosophy and know about science and history, and that makes you a better musician. So if I have any advice to give to young people that are interested in the arts, it's get a well-rounded education. Don't, well, should just anyway, even if you're not interested in the arts. And the most important thing is to learn how to read and how to write well. Because if you can read and write well, it just opens up so many doors to you.
And it's interesting you would mention Peter Alexander, because he's going to be a guest on this show in a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. And I haven't read his article, but I'm going to go back and read it. But I do know that Mick Jagger, I think, has a degree in economics from the London School of Economics. So I agree with you totally. I was going to ask you that question. I'm glad you brought it up. I see we have a couple of CDs here of yours, Allison. Can you tell us about them?
Well, the first one is called, well, the group was Heaven Street, which really was never an active band, but the name of the album is Drinkin' the Devil, which comes from a song that was written for, we'll call it a Broadway musical, predated Broadway, but a musical based on Treasure Island. And so it's an expansion of the song, the 15 Men on a Dead Man's Chest, Drinkin' the Devil had done for the rest. So that's what it comes from, and that song is on that album. It is primarily a singer-songwriter album, so as a friend of mine likes to say, we refer to me as a recovering singer-songwriter. And so it is more in the singer-songwriter genre, and was recorded down in Boston, where I lived in exile for many years. And the second one is Shanty Singer version 2. Shanty Singer version 1 is no longer available except MP3 downloads. So I did a very short run and it was sold out. And that is more sea songs. And Chris Lannon was the engineer, the primary engineer on that, who is known locally with his wife Liz, who together are married with chitlins, and when they are together with me, and also sometimes Charlie Ipcar, shipmates.
Well, I'm glad you left your exile in Boston and came back to Central Maine, because it's our pleasure. And now I'm going to ask you if you'd be so kind as to sing a song for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I would like to sing a song called Jimmy Johnson. It was written by Jerry Bryant, who grew up in Brunswick and went to Brunswick High School and then Bowdoin College. And in spite of being a Brunswick High School graduate, this is an excellent song. Morse High School. didn't grow up here, you might not understand. Maybe you don't know. And so this is a cautionary tale. Jimmy Johnson was a fisherman from Cundy's Harbor, Maine. He set traps for lobsters off the shores of Casco Bay, just like his dad before him, and his father's father too. He did what Johnson men have done since America was new. To the men of Cundy's Harbor, the old ways were the best. Not for Jimmy Johnson, he just wasn't like the rest. He liked newfangled gadgets, there wasn't one he didn't own. So no one was the least surprised when he bought a mobile phone. Jimmy's got the latest, everybody said. He's got a rig to steer his boat and one to flush his head. He's got Loran and sonar to help him find his way. But if he don't learn to watch the waves, they'll soon be hell to pay. Me boys, they'll soon be hell to pay. See, he was often eager to get out on the foam. He would ship in weather that left other boats at home. All the town's old-timers would shake their heads and say, if he don't wise up, we'll find him at the bottom of the bay. One cold April morning, Jimmy headed for the docks. He ignored the breakers that were pounding on the rocks. He started up his engine and stowed his mobile phone. Started out beyond the reach, just one small boat alone. Jimmy's got the latest, everybody said. He's got a rig to steer his boat and one to flush his head. He's got Loran and sonar to help him find his way. If he don't learn to watch the waves, they'll soon be hell to pay. Baby boys, they'll soon be hell to pay. Out on the open water, she began to ship it green. Loading the washboards under, 'twas the worst he'd ever seen. Jimmy finally had decided that he had best return when a 17-foot comber came in right over the stern. And back in Cundy's Harbor, Jimmy's phone began to ring. His wife got a wicked shock when she picked up the thing. A voice said, "Hi, it's Jimmy. Would you do me a favor, please? Call the Coast Guard station and send them after me. I'm sitting in the life raft, just praying it stays afloat. I need some help to get back home. I'm afraid I've lost the boat." A big sea came upon her, and she went down like a stone. The only thing that I could save was my new mobile phone. Jimmy had the latest, everybody said. He had a rig to steer his boat and one to flush his head. Now his Loran and sonar is at the bottom of the bay. It's all gone and he's just got a phone bill left to pay. Me boys, a phone bill left to pay. It's all gone and he's just got a phone bill left to pay.
That was delightful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was delightful. You are very involved, I understand, with the Chocolate Church, and something very exciting is coming up in the next few weeks. Could you tell us about it?
Yes, it is. It will be the Hot Chocolate Valentine Cabaret. And we put the first one together in 2015 in an effort to raise funds and awareness for the Hot Chocolate Jubilee, which is a community variety show to benefit the Chocolate Church. And by community, I mean the Bath area. We have people that have come down from Augusta and Bodenham and all all over the area, aside from the usual suspects of Bath, Brunswick, Harpswell, so forth. And I don't even know who first had the idea to put together a little cabaret for Valentine's Day. The name of that show for the Hot Chocolate Jubilee was Love for All Seasons, and so I guess that made it a good fit. And so we set the Curtis Room up as a little cabaret and sing songs about love and friendship. And it's going to be on Valentine's Day, February 14th, from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. And last year we had tried to have it in the evening, but a snowstorm intervened, and the only time that we could do it was the afternoon, and that worked so well that we decided to do that again.
That sounds great. I'm going to put it on my calendar. And
Excellent.
how wonderful is it to be here in Bath, Maine, the city of ships, and have you singing these songs about the sea. And I'm going to ask you if you will please sing one more song for us, because I just love your work.
Thank you. And this song is called Shipmates.
Okay.
And it is based on a poem by C. Fox Smith, C standing for Sicily. Charlie Ipcar, one of my shipmates, put this song together from the poem. And as with many songs that Charlie has created, I have taken hold of them and put them into my repertoire. So this is Shipmates by C. Fox Smith and Charlie Ipcar. Goodbye and fare you well, for we'll sail no more together, up and down the deep seas, in fair or foul weather. We'll sail no more together, in foul weather or fine, and you'll go your way, and I'll go mine, and you'll go your way, and I'll go mine. This world is very wide, and there's never any knowing the countries we'll be seeing, or the places we are going, up and down the wide world, back across the line, and you'll go your way, and I'll go mine, and you'll go your way, and I'll go mine. Goodbye and fare you well, and maybe we'll be meeting in some foreign city where we'll shout each other greeting. Back from deep sea roving, back from wind and weather, you and me from across the seas, two shipmates together. You and me from across the seas, two shipmates together. And you'll blow up from eastward, I'll blow in from the west. Of all the times we've ever had, it's then we'll have the best. We'll raise a glass and sing our songs, all things will be fine. Then you'll go your way, and I'll go mine, and you'll go your way, and I'll naught but good attend ye, all around the wide world, where sailors' luck may send ye, up and down the deep seas, back across the line, and you'll go your way, and I'll go mine, and you'll go your way, and I'll go mine.
Just beautiful. Allison, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Allison Lee Freeman, we embrace you as a daughter of Maine, of extraordinary talent, and we are so grateful to have you here today. And thank you, Belinda Jean Kennedy, for this wonderful animal portraiture. This is Joey the cat. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for watching. Sweet dreams.